And also it's way less disgusting than the traditional way. Honestly, how do people live without this thing? Hello internet! This is Irina, the Siberian who's gone international. For those who don't know, I live in Helsinki and I think today we're having the first sunny day in, I don't know, 2 weeks, and that has dramatically improved my mood, and I decided to make a really positive video about the Genius Finnish inventions which make the lives of people so much easier, and I think the entire world should be using this. In my opinion, one of the strengths that Finnish people have is that they're capable to think ahead and create things which will make the lives of the people who will be using them so much easier. I'm gonna give you 5 examples today. I'm not entirely sure that they all have been created by Finns, but all of these are widely used here and I'm missing them when I'm abroad. Let's begin. The first one is the cheese cutter. I think little by little it's getting more and more popular all over the world, but a few years ago when I was living in the UK I could not find one of these in the shops, so I actually had to go to Finland and bring one from there. So let me show you this amazing cheese cutter in action. So we have the cheese, the bread and the cheese cutter. We take the bread and oh my god, it's dark. I think people from some countries might be learning something new here, but yeah, dark bread exists and it's amazing, and it's also something I'm missing when I'm abroad. So we have bread and then we take the cheese, take the cheese cutter and ta-da! Perfect slice! It's not too thick, it took me a fraction of a second to cut one of them. And I've heard some people complaining that they're too thin, but guess what? You can just cut another one. And another one. And another one. And it takes almost no effort. You can do it without even looking at it. There you go. I can shred this whole thing in 5 minutes or less. And all of the slices will have the perfect shape, the perfect thickness, and will look gorgeous wherever you put them. Honestly, how do people live without this thing? A tiny issue, I have to do something with this pile of cheese. I think I'll just make hot sandwiches in the oven with tomatoes and cheese. The next item is something which can be found in every single Finnish bathroom, including the public ones. It's this little shower, the primary purpose of which is hygiene, and it even had this slang name, pussy phone. Sorry, I did not invent this, but I thought that you might be interested to know. But what I especially appreciate it for is that it's so convenient to use when you need to wash the whole bathroom. You turn it on, it can reach almost every wall and every item in your bathroom, and you just direct the stream at the dust, it washes it away, and all you have to do later is dry it. And you might wonder, you might say that, hey, but if you do it this way, you will get a lot of puddles on the floor, you will flood your neighbors from downstairs. And no, because that is also something that Finns have thought through, and every bathroom has a hole in the floor, and the floor is usually tilted, so all the excess water just naturally goes into that hole. And once you're finished, all you need to do is to use this another Finnish item to dry the floor. It looks like a mop, but it's not a mop, it's a stick, and as a tip you have this rubbery thing that you usually use to clean your windows, but in this case you use it to move all the puddles from the floor towards that hole in the floor. Once you do it, you give it 15-20 minutes and you have a completely clean and dry bathroom, which is amazing. Just imagine how much time you save in comparison to wiping all the surfaces with a damp cloth. And also it's way less disgusting than the traditional way of cleaning the bathroom, because most of the times you don't even have to touch the toilet. You just shower it with water and wait for it to dry. The next cool thing which helps a lot during the winters is this car engine warming system. So as many countries, Finland has quite cold winters, at least normally we do. This one has been a bit disappointing so far, but normally you have at least 4 months a year when the temperature is constantly below 0 degrees Celsius. And I'm not an expert, but apparently it's not really great for the car engine to change the temperature from -20 to +50 within a couple of minutes. So what people normally do in other countries which have real winters, they come to their car, turn on their engine, and then they wait for 5, 10, 15 minutes for it to warm up, and only then they start driving. driving. And it's not very convenient because you end up losing so much time, which is especially valuable in the mornings when you need to go to work. And Finns have a solution for that. Most of the parking lots have these little poles to which you can connect the engine of your car with a wire, and it will keep your car engine warm. Normally it will not work 24/7, you can usually time it. So there's a timer, so you can set it up for warming up your car an hour or two before your departure. The next cool thing are the keys which open all the doors, though only the ones where you're allowed to go. As you might have seen from my video about the typical Finnish condominium, I'm gonna leave the link. If you live in an apartment, you normally need an access not only to your apartment, but also to the sauna, to the bike storage room, to the cold storage room, and instead of having 15 different keys, you just have one key which opens all of the doors. And every single apartment owner has just one key. And with that key, you can only open your apartment and all the other doors where you're allowed to go, but you cannot open another person's apartment. And it's same for them. They also can access all these common areas, but that same key cannot be used by them to open your apartment. For decades, Finnish people have been using this abloy key, which has served the purpose pretty well, but now people are switching to the electric keys. You can also open all the doors with just one key, but the advantage of this one is that it can be reprogrammed. So for example, if you have a set of 4 keys and you have lost one of them and you think that some creepy dude has the key to your apartment, you don't have to change the lock. You can just tell the key manufacturer that, hey, can you just reprogram my key and my lock? And it's like having a brand new key and a brand new lock, even though physically you still have the same lock and the same key. And then you just buy an additional one to replace the lost one. It's definitely cheaper than replacing the locks, because one of my friends recently had her keys stolen and she ended up changing the locks and it was like 300 euros. I think to get a new key like this is gonna cost me around 40 euros, and to reprogram the existing keys, I'm not sure how much is it, but definitely less than 300 euros. My building has just renewed all the keys and all the locks from the regular ones to these electric ones, and so far I've been happy with them. Oh no, I think the sun has just disappeared and I'm not finished yet. Anyway, the last thing I want to tell you about is the shelf for drying the dishes. To be honest, it was nothing special to me when I moved to Finland because we had those in Russia too, but once I started moving to other countries, I noticed that they're not that spread all over the world. So for example, in the UK, the way people dry their dishes is they just put them next to the sink to dry, which is not that great because it takes up a lot of space. It looks rather ugly, you have all those puddles from the water dripping from the dishes, and if you still haven't seen it, here is the genius idea how you can dry your dishes without showing them to the entire world and without having any puddles on your kitchen counters. As you can see, the shelf is installed right above the sink, so all the water is dripping back into the sink, and if you close the door, your piles of dishes will not be visible for anyone. It's getting really dark here. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new today. If so, click the like button, and I will see you soon in the next video if you will subscribe to this channel. Bye!